Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Young Minds Yoga. So just to reiterate what you're going to need for today's session, a blanket, okay, just an old blanket can do, but something you can fold up into sort of a square like this. We're going to do some opening for our back and shoulders and also releasing tension in the neck. So an old blanket, ideally a yoga block, but if you haven't got a yoga block, then do grab a cushion from your bed, from the sofa, a cushion, a nice sturdy cushion that you can sit on. So yoga block or cushion and a blanket. And then the last thing that we're going to use today, and it's only for a few of the exercises, but wonderful way to release tension in the shoulders, the arms and the lower back and the upper back in fact, and that's a chair, okay? So if you can grab a chair, it can be just a bog standard kitchen chair or even a chair without wheels in your bedroom if you've got one. Make sure it hasn't got wheels so it doesn't run off. And that's what you'll need in a few minutes, okay? So we'll put that to one side, chair. And then what we're going to do, we won't use the block straight away, but we are going to go straight into this pose. It's about, I like this practice, it's called finding calm amid challenge. So some of the poses may feel challenging. What we're going through at the moment, just about to ease out of lockdown, it's going to be quite challenging for many and quite daunting as well. We're sort of heading into uncharted territory again. So we naturally may feel anxious, and I think a nice calm centered session amid the challenge where you can stay calm and centered is really important over the next coming days. So that's what we're going to do. Also, we're going to be working the shoulders, in between the shoulder blades and releasing tension in the upper back and neck. So if you're doing a lot of studying, a lot of sitting at a desk, maybe hunched over slightly, or even if you're sitting quite well and tall, this area is going to be quite static a lot of the time and is prone to stiffness and tightness. So we're going to try and untie those knots. So grab a blanket for me if you can, fold it into a fairly neat square so it's padded up, and that's going to be at the top of your yoga mat, like me, okay? The top of the yoga mat. And this is called a supported chest opener. Now, what you can also have, if you've got a yoga block, is have that just below the blanket. Now, if that's too hard and you think, well, I haven't got that, grab that cushion and place that just below the folded blanket, just below. And what I want you to do is, first of all, just take the cushion so it's on your mid-back, and then make sure that you've got your folded blanket underneath your head and neck. Now I've bent my knees, so if you've got low back pain, you can keep your knees bent, hip width apart, or for a stronger stretch, you can straighten the legs down towards the floor. If you're doing that, push the heels away, so flex the toes towards you and push the heels as if you're pushing against an imaginary wall. So remember, knees bent, feet apart, if that suits your low back and that feels more comfortable, or a deeper stretch, you're going to extend the legs. We're then going to take hold of alternate elbows or our wrists and just rest them above. And the aim is this opens up your chest here. It sort of creates a nice curve opening in the chest. And if you can't hold on to alternate elbows, then just hold on to alternate wrists. If your back feels arched here, then remember bending the knees and pressing the lower back into the floor is a nice way to support your spine. So either bend the knees or straighten them, okay? And holding on to alternate elbows or wrists, chin tucked in. And then you can either close the eyes, yogis, or you can simply look towards your ceiling, relax your gaze. We're going to hold for about 8 breaths, quite a long time. And the aim is just to relax the back surface of your body into the cushion, into the folded mat, legs either straight or knees bent, whichever suits you. And then we're going to switch on that nice deep breathing. So ideally, you can either breathe through the nostrils with the mouth closed or through the mouth gently, whichever suits you. And you breathe in. Breathing out, and you just let your whole chest area soften and relax. Remember, you're supported by the cushion and the folded blanket underneath the head and neck. the cushion underneath the mid to low back. And just take another 5 or 6 slow breaths here, yogis. If you can't hold on to the elbows, remember, don't worry. Simply hold on to alternate wrists, if that's easier. Chin tucked in and relax. Just enjoy the stretch. And this is what we call a supported chest opener. Not only does it mean you're breathing deeply into the chest muscles, they're getting a stretch, but also releasing tightness and tension in your shoulders and upper back. So let's breathe together, just breathing in gently, breathing out fully. So 2 more slow breaths here if you can. And then, if your knees were straight, so if your legs were straight rather, bend your knees, yogis. Take your feet apart, release the arms, and just bring the arms down. Turn the palms uppermost and relax here for a moment. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just let the arms and the shoulders settle. And then we're going to roll over and come up and relax. Now, that may not feel very much, but what you can also do, if you're in your bedroom and you want to try that, what's quite nice is taking 2 pillows, turning them sideways and having one underneath your head, one underneath the low back, so they're sort of like that, a long sort of line, 2 pillows, and then holding that pose. And you can hold for up to 5-10 minutes. And when you release, just relax the shoulders, roll them forwards and back. The longer you hold that pose, the deeper the stretch in your shoulders and upper body. And because you're lying on the bed or maybe on the floor on a rug, it's so luxurious, it means you can often stay longer. So try that whenever it feels tight. And then just roll your shoulders forwards and back and shake it out. Notice if you feel a bit looser in this area. So a nice supportive, what we call chest opener. Now, how are the back of the legs? Well, I haven't done a great deal of yoga this week and I've had a few days off because of Good Friday and Easter Monday, and you may be the same. So maybe you've not been doing as much walking or even stretching. So we're going to try our downward dog as a way of gently stretching the legs. But what we're going to do is a supported downward dog, or what we call half dog, and then a full dog. And you can do either or, both if you wish to, as a nice alternative. So you'll need the block or cushion again. So I'm going to use 1 block and 1 cushion. And we're going to just learn to do a half downward dog. And then that may be enough for some of you. And then if you want to transition into full dog, you can. So this is a great stretch again for your back, lots of back exercises. It releases stress in the shoulders. And also, because we're going to tuck our toes under, the backs of the legs and toes get a delicious stretch as well. So let's have a go at the supported downward dog. So we've got cushions, we can have as many as we want. We're going to make sure that the knees and feet are hip width apart, and we've tucked the toes under. Now what we need to do is just rest our forehead on our cushion. Okay, so let's do that together. Arms are straight. I'm going to push my bottom back down towards my heels. Doesn't matter if it doesn't touch. Forehead down, and then just softly, just bend your elbows to open up your shoulders. If you want to stretch a little deeper, then take the arms forwards. Press the head, make sure it's into something soft like a cushion. Open the fingers. And then as you exhale, keep pushing your bottom back towards your heels. Your toes and knees get a lovely stretch as well. Okay, let's hold for 5 breaths. If you don't want to straighten the arms, yogis, just soften the elbows down. Palms are resting on the floor. Open the fingers wide and breathe deep.
Make sure your nose is clear so that you can breathe fully and evenly. Straight arms for a deeper stretch, soft elbows for a more gentler opening in the shoulders and not such a strenuous stretch into your arms. And pushing your bottom gently back towards the heels. And let your breath be even if you can, and relax through the mouth or the nostrils. So I'm going to come up now, sit back on my heels, remove the cushion and the block, and have a little go at downward dog, okay? So just having a go at this pose if you can. Now if it feels too much, I want you to stay in that half downward dog and just take 3 or 4 more deep breaths if you can. Now, if you've got socks on like me, it's a great idea just to peel them off so you can feel your feet fully. So as we come into a tabletop position on hands and feet, or hands and knees rather, we just tuck the toes under again and make sure the knees and feet are hip width apart. Take a moment to spread the weight across the fingers evenly. We're going to go up gently, keep the feet apart. Doesn't matter if your knees are bent, yogis. I'd rather you keep your ears alongside that inner elbow, arms are strong and straight, pressing the weight evenly across the hands. And we're going to walk the dog by padding one heel back and down, and then the other. Gazing, if you can, towards your upper thighs. That's it, just padding one heel down as you breathe in, and the other heel down as you breathe out. Don't worry if the heels don't touch the floor, just easing into it gently and slowly. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Let's do 3 more. If you're not in this pose, don't worry. Continue in the half downward dog. Remember, it's a nice alternative and gentler on your spine and legs. So I'm going to take another deep breath in, deep breath out, walking the dog, and then come back down onto all fours. Well done. Okay, so we're now going to sit. Now, if you can sit on your heels, that's brilliant. But if you can't, by all means, extend the legs out in front of you and sit on a cushion, okay? So if sitting on your heels feels too tricky today, just extend the legs instead and sit on a cushion. Remember, we're working those hard to reach areas between the shoulder blades. And this pose is great to do with an old tea towel or towel if you wanted to. But today we're just going to use the strength in our arms. So we're going to raise our right arm and bring it behind us, flat back. And then we're going to raise the left arm and take that behind and aim to bring the fingers towards one another. So I'm going to show you. There we go. Okay. Now what you can do with a sock, I've done this before, with a longer sock or a flannel, you can roll that up and hold on to that, all these different things, and take it behind you. And if your hands don't meet, you can pull on a sock. Can you see? And that gives you that opening. So if you can grab a sock now, that's great. And don't worry if your hands don't meet. Mine don't. But what this does gives us a diagonal stretch from elbow to elbow. So I'm stretching my shoulders, my chest, and my arms. And very often we find this tricky. So I want you just to hold for 3 breaths, gazing ahead, keep the spine tall. And like I say, just use an old sock or a tea towel to hold on to, and just pull on that with each hand to create a little tension there. That's it. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Softly looking ahead and aiming to keep your spine and your head and neck as long as you can as you gaze ahead. And then release. Good. Now, I'm just using a little sock, but again, you might want to use something like a towel or a longer sock. Roll the shoulders back and forwards if you can to loosen that area. And we're going to have a go on the other side now. So my left arm comes up. I take the sock in the left hand
Let me show you from behind again. And I take my right hand, holding onto the sock. And socks are a good thing because they've got lycra and stretchy in them. So they tend to stretch, which is great. And now I'm stretching from my left elbow diagonally across my body to my right elbow. And I'm looking forwards. Now, as you go into the other side, don't be too alarmed if one side feels harder than the other. For me as well, I find one side more tricky and tighter. And if you're the same, I want you to look forwards and know that that's completely normal. Hold and breathe if you can for up to 2 more deep breaths. If there's a lot of discomfort, if there's any pain, then please do release, okay? Just remind yourself that your yoga shouldn't hurt, okay? We're not here to hurt ourselves. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, we're going to release. Oh, that felt quite tight. And then we're going to roll the shoulders back, roll them forwards to release the area you've just worked. And if it helps, just shake it out. Arms up, shaking from the wrists, and release. Nicely done, yogis. We're now going to move on and do another pose from here. Now, if you're sitting like this and it's comfortable, stay like this. If you'd rather stretch the legs out and again sit on a yoga block, you can do that. So if you find sitting on your heels tricky, just extend the legs out, but make sure you're on the cushion. And I'll show you from this position. So we're going to take the arms out, work the shoulders again, and bring the right arm forwards, okay? And cross the right elbow over the left, all right? So crossing my right elbow over the left. And then I'm going to bend the elbows and bring the palms together. If you find that tricky, simply make 2 loose fists and raise the elbows towards your nose so that you can see this from the side, right over left. I either bring the palms together and raise the elbows, or I make 2 loose fists and gaze ahead. And that's really, I can feel that stretching between the shoulder blades. So that's what we want to aim for. And again, raise those elbows up and just take for me 3 breaths if you can. Breathing in, breathing out. Now remember, we are going to feel tight in between the shoulder blades. That's normal as well. So breathe through that stretch as best you can. Palms touching if that's comfortable, or 2 loose fists. I'm going to breathe in again. And then exhale, release, and again, roll the shoulders away and forwards. Just shake it out again. These are strong poses, really getting into the heart of the matter. So don't worry if they feel tight, simply have a go. Let's try the other side. So arms to shoulder height again. Left elbow crosses over right this time. So that's left over right. Bending the elbows. And if you can, bring the palms together, or again, make 2 loose fists. And then raise your elbows as high as you can in alignment with the nose and hold for 3 breaths. One side may feel easier. Try and keep the spine tall if you can as you look ahead, and keep breathing into those tight spots. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm going to bring the palms together and have a go, show you from the side. Again, looking forwards, raising my elbows. That really does, I can feel the stretch in my shoulder blades, in between my shoulder blades. So breathing into that stretch as best you can. 1 more deep breath. Deep breath out. Now we're going to uncross, release, roll those shoulders back, yogis, and forwards. And again, just shake it out to loosen that area. Well done, yogis. Now I said we were going to use a chair, didn't I? So we're going to have a go at what we call upward plank pose. And just want you to gain a new perspective of using a chair. So bring the chair forwards. Remember, a chair without wheels, and place it on a non-slip surface, like a yoga mat is better, okay? And first of all, I'm going to sit on the chair, which is what we would normally do, and make sure that my feet are together, and I'm going to hold on to the sides, so my arms are strong, gripping the sides. And this is called an upward plank pose, and it's strengthening for my arms, but it's also releasing for the shoulders as well. And I'm going to inhale and then come off the chair, keep my knees, if I can, in the same line as my chest, and look forwards or drop the head back, and I'm really pushing into the chair for support. So strong arms, finding calm amid the challenge, dropping the head or looking up towards the ceiling. Legs are strong, anchor the feet down, keep the arms lovely and straight, and 3 breaths, breathing in. So if you don't want to drop the head, then look forwards, that's it. Keeping the whole body in that line, very good for our arms, but also releasing. Nice deep breaths here, breathing in, breathing out. Put the weight into not only the arms, but the feet, yogis. 1 more full breath in. Exhale and come back to sitting carefully on the chair. Shake it out. Well done. So these are beautiful poses where we're really using the chair to aid us. And we're going to do that once more. So if you're tired, you can of course leave it out, but if you can, so we're going to try that again. Here we go. Gripping the sides of the chair, push the hands down, coming up, lifting up a little higher. That's it. Looking forwards, 3 breaths. This is strengthening your arms. So if your arms don't feel particularly strong and locked down, or you feel you've lost some of the strength if you've not been able to go to the gym, then again, this is a great way to strengthen the arms and to keep fit and strong. Gaze ahead, 1 more full breath. Exhale, calming down. And then again, shake it out, shake the legs out, sit down and relax, take a resting breath, roll the shoulders back and forwards. And we're going to use the chair again. Well done, yogis. So this time, we're going to leave the chair there, move it back a little bit, and we're going to sit cross-legged. Now, if you can't sit cross-legged, you can, of course, sit with the legs extended. So let me show you. Ideally, we're going to turn our backs away from the chair and sit cross-legged, so we're opening our knee and hip. Now, if that's not comfortable, you can, of course, extend the legs in front of you and still perform this, okay? Now, let's have a look. This we call a shoulder stretch with chair, just a shoulder stretch with chair. So I'm going to sit cross-legged, but extend the legs if you need to. And we're going to take our hands back to the back of the chair. So I'm holding on to the back of the chair, back legs, resting my hands on the seat of the chair, so that's quite nice. Lifting up and just softly gazing ahead at eye level. So can you see I've taken the hands to the back of the chair, slightly further down. Again, if that's too strong, you can, of course, leave this exercise out if you wish to. And we're going to look forward. I can feel the opening in the shoulders. 4 breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. And we lift the chest a little as we gaze ahead, because what we want to try and do here, yogis, is keep the spine tall. We don't want to sag. We want to keep the spine lifted, the chest open, and switching on that deep breath work. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhaling. And exhaling. That's it. 1 more full breath in. Deep breath out. And relax, release. And then roll the shoulders back. Ooh. And forwards. And then I'm going to cross the legs over the other way and just perform that again. If that feels enough for you, then of course you can leave this. But what I've done is cross my legs over the opposite way. If your legs are extended and you wish to have another go, then join us. So again, taking the hands to the back of the chair, gazing forwards. We've crossed our legs over the opposite way if you're sitting cross-legged, looking ahead, relax into it as much as you can. And I'm going to hold for 3 breaths, but you may just want to hold for 1. Make sure it's comfortable. Keep the spine tall, opening the shoulders, breathe deep. We call this a shoulder stretch with the chair. You can be really tight on opening those shoulders, so again, only hold for as long as you comfortably can. 1 more full breath if you can, but again, release if you need to before then. Good. and then relax. And if your legs are stretched out, again, just roll the shoulders back a few times and forwards to release them and shake it out. This is strong shoulder work, remember, that it's just seeing and doing things from a different perspective, which can be, joyous and different. And as our chest expands and our breath flow increases, you can always feel a little bit more lifted as well. With buoyancy, I always think, and ease, and able to sort of move a little bit more fully after these poses. It's just a really nice way to work the chest and feel hopefully a little bit more opening, a bit more buoyancy in this area. Okay, so we don't need our chair anymore, just for those 2 exercises. So carefully take the chair away. What we will need is a yoga block again, okay? Now, if you've got a yoga block that's more sort of plasticky, that's great. If you haven't, you can use whatever you have, and let me show you. So a standard yoga block like this can be pretty much purchased for a few pounds off the web, and it's made of plastic, and we're going to use it for supported bridge pose. So this opens and expands the chest, gives the front and the back of the spine a lovely lift. And if you don't want to use a block or haven't got one, I'm going to show you how to do it as well without one. But for now, what we're going to do is lie down, and we want to place this block pretty much, if we can, on the lower sacrum, okay? So we're resting our sacrum and our tailbone, this lower part, on the block, resting the sacrum and the tailbone on this lower block, okay? So we start at the block at the lowest height, so you can have it to the side. And if I lie down, I'm going to bend my knees and show you. So bridge pose is lovely, supports the spine. I'm going to show you with, but also without the block. Without the block, I have it on its lowest height. My chin is tucked in, my knees hip width apart, my arms resting on the mat. I'm going to lift my hips slowly and place that block at its lowest height underneath my sacrum, underneath my sacrum and my low back. And I feel that's really good. I can then turn my palms uppermost, relax here, keep my knees and feet very much hip width apart, but no wider. I could have my palms down, or I could have my palms facing up. If they're up, I get this lovely opening. Can you see that in my chest? And that's very comfortable. So if you've got a block, a yoga block, keep it at its lowest height and hold that, if that's comfortable, with your chin tucked in for 8 breaths. If you'd rather not use a block or you don't have one, then very gently from this starting position, start to inhale now and lift your hips, lifting your whole spine off the floor, pressing the backs of the hands into the floor as you rise up slowly. Your chin is tucked in, your feet, knees are hip width apart, nothing moving, just breathing as you just take those hips as high as you can towards the ceiling. Hold and breathe for up to 8 breaths. Now I'm going to grab my block because that felt nice. Place it at the lowest point, sacrum area, the low back. And I'm going to hold my pose for up to 8 breaths. Again, if you like, you can take it to the highest point if you're used to that. And again, just finding that sacrum, making sure it feels comfortable if you're using the block. If it doesn't feel comfortable, do release it. This is important that it feels comfortable for you. And again, let's hold for about 4 more deep breaths. With or without the block, yogis, it's entirely up to you. Breathing in, breathing out, inhaling, exhaling fully. So getting this lovely opening in the chest and the spine. Breathing deeply, breathing fully.
I'm going to take one more deep breath in and out here, yogis. Join me if you can, with or without the block, whichever's more comfortable. And then if you're using the block, just gently releasing it now, and together let's come down very slowly, lowering the whole spine back down. Hug the knees in and just rock gently from side to side. Taking a deep breath in and out here. And as we rock, we just softly breathe into that low back. That's it. Give our spinal muscles time to release and relax. And then finally, yogis, we're going to lie down. And we're going to lie down in Shavasana just for a few minutes. That's all we have left. So again, why not get a blanket or cushion? Make sure you're warm enough. Have something underneath your head as well. A cushion ideally. And just give yourself that gift of lying in Shavasana, slowly, slowly, coming down, chin tucked in. And just take maybe 5 slow breaths, but I want you to rest now, not only the breath, but the whole body. We've been doing lovely openings for our chest area and shoulders, finding calm amid challenge, gaining a new perspective of opening into the chest with some gentle chest opening poses with our chair, with our props and with our blankets today. So just let the whole body settle, chin tucked in, lying quietly in Shavasana. And just take 1 or 2 deep breaths here. Notice how you now feel. Notice if the chest feels joyously more open, and whether you feel you can breathe with more ease into your upper body and chest now. Just quietly observing any physical sensations or thoughts as you rest. So you need to just gently come out of this now. We're going to start to move the fingers and toes gently. Give them an affectionate stretch and wiggle, opening fingers and toes, stretching them. Observe how they feel physically now. And very gently just start to stretch, if you wish, to the arms overhead. Flex the toes towards you, push the heels away, and just get a lovely stretch in the whole body now. Taking 1 or 2 deep breaths in here. That's it, breathing, stretching, and fully observing how you feel as you stretch. And then opening the eyes, and just very gently hug those knees in again, rock and soften your low back. Take a moment to observe how you now feel, and then roll onto one side, and just come up to sitting. And we have to close our practice now. So join me if you wish to, and taking a deep breath in, and gathering all that energy and bringing it down to your heart center. Om Shanti, peace. Thank you so much, yogis. We did a little bit more than we planned, but just notice how you feel now in the upper body, and remember to wish yourself and your body well. May they both continue to serve you well. Thank you.